Hi. Think you know English? Tired of sounding like a textbook when you speak English? This isn't your classroom English. This is the real deal. Hello everyone. Welcome back to Learn English with Evie. I'm Evie, and today I'm absolutely thrilled to have Sarah with me. She's a mom with 2 teenagers, and honestly, when she told me about her morning routines, I was laughing so hard I nearly cried. Sarah, welcome to the show.
Oh, Evie, thank you so much for having me. You know, when I think about my mornings, I have to laugh because otherwise I'd probably cry. It's this beautiful chaos that I wouldn't trade for anything, but wow, some days I feel like I'm running a military operation from my kitchen.
I love that you call it beautiful chaos. Tell me, paint me a picture of what a typical morning looks like in your house.
Oh my goodness, where do I even begin? So I wake up at 6:30 and let me tell you, I need those first few minutes to myself because once I start the wake-up process, it's like, how do you say? A battlefield. I stumble to the kitchen and the first thing I do is make coffee because honestly, I need coffee to survive what's coming next. Then I start making breakfast and I'm already mentally preparing myself for the drama that's about to unfold upstairs.
The drama upstairs. I can already imagine. What happens when you try to wake up your teenagers?
Oh, Evie, it's like trying to wake the dead. My daughter Emma is 16 and my son Jake is 14, and they both hate mornings with a passion. So I go upstairs with this fake cheerful voice, you know? I say, "Good morning, sunshine. Time to wake up. Breakfast is ready." And nothing. Absolute silence. It's like they've disappeared into their pillows.
And I'm guessing that cheerful approach doesn't last long.
Exactly. Emma always does this thing where she says 5 more minutes, please mom, in this sweet, sleepy voice that's designed to melt my heart. And Jake? Oh, Jake just pulls the blanket over his head like he's building a fortress against the morning. Sometimes I wonder if they practice these avoidance techniques in their sleep.
That's hilarious. So what's your strategy when the gentle approach fails?
Well, that's when I have to transform from sweet mom to drill sergeant. I become more firm, and by firm I mean I stop asking and start telling. I say, come on, you'll be late for school, and sometimes I have to resort to turning on all the lights like I'm conducting an interrogation. The kids hate it, but bright light is actually very effective for waking up the human brain.
Do you ever have to get physical with the wake-up process?
Oh yes, especially with Jake. Last week I actually had to shake his shoulder gently, of course, and I said, "Jake, wake up right now." He opened one eye, looked at me with this confused expression, and said, "Is it Saturday?" Evie, it was Tuesday. I just stood there thinking, how does a person forget what day it is while they're sleeping?
That's so funny. Once they're finally awake, how does the breakfast situation unfold?
Oh, breakfast is a whole other adventure. Emma never has time to eat properly because she's always convinced she's running late. She'll run downstairs in a panic saying, "What time is it? Am I late?" And then she grabs an apple, and I mean literally grabs it like she's stealing it, and runs to catch the bus. Meanwhile, Jake is the complete opposite. He walks slowly to the kitchen like he has all the time in the world, sits down at the table and asks, "What's for breakfast, Mom?" Every single morning, as if it's a surprise.
Such different personalities. What kind of breakfast chaos do you deal with?
Well, I try to keep it simple: toast, cereal, sometimes pancakes on weekends. But of course, they always want different things. Emma wants toast with no butter because she's watching her weight, and Jake wants toast with lots of butter because he's a growing boy. Emma drinks orange juice, Jake hates orange juice. It's like they're designed to make my life complicated. Sometimes I feel like I'm running a short-order restaurant instead of just being a mom.
Do they ever help you with the morning routine, or are you doing everything yourself?
Oh, they help sometimes, but it's always on their timeline, not mine. I'll ask Jake, can you put the plates on the table? And he says, in a minute, Mom. But his version of a minute is usually about 10 minutes. By the time he gets around to helping, I've already done everything myself. I've learned that if I want something done in the morning, it's faster to just do it myself.
What about the bathroom situation? I imagine that gets competitive with two teenagers.
Oh my God, the bathroom wars. Emma spends absolutely forever in there, and by forever, I mean like she's preparing for a photo shoot. She's doing her hair, her makeup, trying on different earrings. Meanwhile, Jake is waiting outside the door saying, Emma, hurry up. I need to brush my teeth. And then they start fighting through the bathroom door. Emma says, you had your turn yesterday. And Jake says that's not true. And I'm standing there thinking, there's time for everyone if you just work together.
And I'm guessing there are always forgotten items and last-minute panics.
Every single week. Emma will suddenly start running around the house saying, Mom, where's my math homework? I can't find it anywhere. And I always ask the same question, did you check your backpack? And of course it's always in her backpack, but she never looks there first. Last Tuesday she had a complete meltdown because she said, I left my science project in my friend's car. We had to call her friend at 7 in the morning. I felt so embarrassed, but what else could I do?
What about Jake? Does he have his own version of morning disasters?
Jake's specialty is forgetting his lunch. Every single day, I make his sandwich with love. I pack it in his lunch bag. I put it right on the kitchen counter where he can see it, and every single day he leaves it there. So there I am, running after the school bus in my pajamas and slippers, waving his lunch bag like a crazy woman. The bus driver knows me by now. He's very sweet. He stops and waits for me. I'm sure he thinks I'm completely disorganized.
That's such a sweet image, though. What do you say to them as they finally head off to school?
I always try to end on a positive note, even after all the chaos. I say, have a good day. Don't forget your lunch. Which is ironic because someone always forgets their lunch anyway. Call me if you need anything. But they're already running toward their day. And they just shout by Mom over their shoulders. Sometimes I wonder if they even hear me, but I say it anyway because that's what moms do.
And how do you feel once they finally left for school?
You know, it's this weird mix of exhaustion and relief. I'm tired from all the organizing and nagging and problem solving, but I'm also grateful for the sudden quiet. I sit down with my coffee, my first real sip of the day, and I think tomorrow will be exactly the same. But then I look around at the breakfast dishes and the forgotten items, and I can't help but smile because this chaos is my life and I actually love it.
Do weekends feel any different in your house?
Oh, weekends are like living in a parallel universe. On Saturday and Sunday, my teenagers transform into completely different creatures. They sleep until 10 or 11 o'clock. No alarm clocks, no rushing, no drama. But then they wake up expecting this elaborate weekend breakfast: eggs, bacon, pancakes, fresh orange juice. Emma gets up at 10, Jake at 11:30. So I'm basically cooking all morning long but at a leisurely pace. It's exhausting in a different way but much more relaxed.
Sarah, what wisdom would you share with other parents who might be struggling with their morning routines?
The most important thing I've learned is to be patient with yourself and with your kids. These morning routines, they're not just about getting everyone fed and out the door, they're about connection even when it's chaotic. Also, practical advice: Make coffee first because you'll definitely need it, and prepare everything you can the night before. Put backpacks by the door, make lunches, lay out clothes. But most importantly, try to find the humor in the chaos, because if you can't laugh at running after a school bus in your pajamas, what can you laugh at?
That's such beautiful advice, Sarah. Thank you so much for sharing not just your stories, but your heart with us today.
Thank you, Evie. It was wonderful to talk about this. Sometimes as parents, we think we're the only ones dealing with this kind of morning madness. But sharing these stories reminds us that we're all in this beautiful chaos together.
Perfect. Thanks again, Sarah. You know, after talking with Sarah about the chaos of waking up her family, I got curious about what happens next in English-speaking homes. How do families actually organize their day? Well, I found the perfect person to answer that question. Today I have David with me, and I'm so excited about this conversation because David has a unique perspective. He's a work-from-home dad with twin boys. David, I have to say, when you told me about your morning planning sessions, I was both impressed and slightly terrified.
Huh. Well, Evie, thanks for having me. You know, when people hear work from home with twin 12-year-olds, they either give me this look of sympathy or they think I'm completely crazy. And honestly, some days I think they might be right. But it's this incredible balancing act that I've somehow learned to love, even when it drives me absolutely nuts.
Twins and working from home, that sounds like a recipe for beautiful chaos. Tell me, how do you even begin to organize a day when you've got so many moving parts?
Oh man, it's like conducting an orchestra where half the musicians can't read music. Every morning at breakfast, we have what I call our family coordination meeting. Though that makes it sound way more official than it actually is. My wife Lisa works in an office, so she's usually rushing around getting ready, and I'm trying to get everyone on the same page about the day ahead. The funny thing is, I always start with this optimistic question. So boys, what's your schedule today? And Tommy and Sam, my twins, they look at each other with these blank expressions like I just asked them to solve quantum physics.
That's hilarious. Do they ever actually know what they're supposed to be doing?
Never. And I mean never. Yesterday was perfect example. I asked, do you have soccer practice today? Tommy says, I think so, with this uncertainty in his voice. And Sam immediately contradicts him. No, that's tomorrow. They start this mini argument right there at the breakfast table. And I'm thinking, guys, it's your own schedule. Turns out they were both completely wrong. It was Thursday, and neither of them had soccer that day. Sometimes I wonder if they have a secret pact to keep me confused.
So how does your family actually keep track of everything? Because honestly, just listening to you makes me feel overwhelmed.
My wife Lisa is my saving grace. She's incredibly organized, like scary organized. She has this big wall calendar in our kitchen that looks like mission control at NASA. Every morning, she does this ritual where she says, "Let me check the calendar," and then reads everything out loud like she's giving us the daily briefing. Tommy, you have guitar lessons after school at 4 p.m. Sam, you have a dentist appointment at 3:30. Meanwhile, the boys are just sitting there nodding and eating their cereal, and I can tell they're not absorbing a single word she's saying.
Do you think they're actually listening when she goes through the schedule?
Absolutely not. Last week was the perfect example. Lisa very clearly told. Sam, remember, you have a math test today. Sam looked up from his breakfast with this deer-in-headlights expression and said, "What? Today? I thought it was next week." I'm watching this unfold thinking, she literally just told you this 2 minutes ago. But here's the thing about Lisa, she doesn't panic. She got very calm, which is her superpower, and said, "Okay, let's review your math quickly after breakfast." They spent the next 20 minutes at the kitchen table going through multiplication tables while I'm making lunch and mentally rearranging my morning work schedule.
What about your own work schedule? How do you communicate that to your family?
Oh, that's where it gets really interesting. I always announce my important meetings because, I need the house to be reasonably quiet. So I'll say something like, I have a video call at 10 a.m., so please keep it down upstairs. The boys always nod and say, sure, Dad. But do they remember? Of course not. Yesterday, I'm in the middle of this serious client meeting, talking about quarterly projections or something equally boring, when Tommy bursts into my office, not knocks, just barges right in, and says, Dad, where are the cookies? I had to look at my screen full of professional colleagues and say, sorry everyone, that's my son. Tommy, the cookies are in the pantry. Everyone started laughing, which was nice, but I felt like such an amateur.
That's both embarrassing and endearing. What about Lisa's work schedule? Do the boys understand what she does?
They are slowly learning, but it's fascinating to watch them try to understand the adult work world. Lisa always keeps us informed. She'll say, I have a big presentation today, so I might be late for dinner, or I have lunch with a client, so I'll be back around 2 p.m. The boys listen with this curious intensity, and sometimes Tommy will ask, Mom, what's a presentation? Lisa patiently explains. I show my work to other people and talk about it. And Sam immediately chimes in with, that sounds boring. Kids have no filter, right? But I love that they're genuinely trying to understand our adult responsibilities.
Speaking of the boys, how do you handle family activity planning? That must be complicated with twins who probably have different interests.
Oh, this is where it gets really fun. Lisa has this democratic approach where she asks, what should we do this evening? Or what are our weekend plans? And immediately, Tommy and Sam want completely different things. Tommy's always like, can we play video games? And Sam counters with, can we go to the park? Then they start this negotiation that sounds like tiny lawyers arguing a case. They'll go back and forth for 10 minutes, getting more animated and louder, until Lisa steps in with her Solomon-like wisdom and says, okay, video games for 30 minutes, then the park. Problem solved. The boys look at each other, shrug, and say, okay, Mom, like they hadn't just been debating this like their lives depended on it.
What about those dreaded appointments? Doctor visits, dentist appointments. How do you handle the resistance?
Oh my God, appointments are like announcing the end of the world. Lisa will say very matter-of-factly, boys, you both have dentist appointments on Saturday at 10 a.m. And the reaction is immediate and dramatic. Tommy instantly says, do I have to go? With this tragic expression, and Sam declares, I don't like the dentist, like is making a political statement. I usually jump in trying to be the reasonable voice. It's just a cleaning, boys. It takes 15 minutes. But they still complain and negotiate. The funny thing is, last month Tommy said, can we go get some ice cream after? And I was so tired of the drama that I said yes. Now it's become this tradition. Dentist visit followed by ice cream. Sometimes bribery is just practical parenting.
What about school events? Do they remember those any better than their regular activities?
School events are the worst because they're so irregular. Lisa will announce, Tommy, you have the school play on Friday. Don't forget your costume. And Tommy looks genuinely confused. What costume? It's like he's hearing about this for the first time, even though we've been talking about it for weeks. Last year was the absolute worst. Sam had a science fair project due, and on Monday morning he suddenly remembered. Oh, I need to bring my project today. We had absolutely nothing prepared. Lisa and I looked at each other with this silent communication that said, we're about to spend our entire morning making a volcano. And that's exactly what we did. Baking soda volcano in 45 minutes. The crazy part? Sam actually got a B+. But Lisa made sure to say, "Next time, we start projects early." Sam just smiled with that innocent look and said, "Okay, Mom," like he wasn't planning to do the exact same thing next time.
Transportation must be a logistical nightmare with all these activities. How do you coordinate who goes where?
Transportation is like solving a daily puzzle. Lisa and I have these quick strategy sessions where she'll say, "David, can you take Tommy to guitar lessons? I'll pick up Sam from soccer." Then we both pull out our phones to check traffic, timing, our own work schedules. It's like we're coordinating a military operation. And despite all this planning, I mess it up constantly. Last week, I confidently drove Tommy to soccer practice, feeling like I had everything under control. We get there, and Tommy very gently says, "Dad, I play guitar, remember?" I felt so incredibly silly. So we drove home, got Sam, drove back to soccer practice, and Tommy just came along for the ride and did his homework in the car. Lisa calls us a multitasking family, and I guess she's right.
David, after hearing all this, what's your best advice for parents trying to manage these complex family schedules?
You know, I've learned that perfection is the enemy of progress. Write everything down. Seriously, everything. Ask, "What's everyone doing today?" Every single morning, even when you know they're not really listening. At least you said it, right? And always have a backup plan because something will go wrong. But here's the thing I've really learned. These scheduling disasters, these moments of chaos, they're actually some of our best family memories. When I'm 80 years old, I won't remember the perfectly organized days. I'll remember the time we made a volcano in 45 minutes, or Tommy asking about cookies during my business meeting. The mess is where the love lives, you know?
That's such beautiful wisdom, David. Thank you for sharing not just your organizational strategies, but your heart with us today.
Thank you, Evie. It's been wonderful talking about this. Sometimes as parents, we get so caught up in trying to manage everything perfectly that we forget to appreciate the beautiful chaos of family life. Sharing these stories reminds me why I love this crazy, complicated, wonderful life we've built together.
Wonderful advice. Thank you again, David. And that brings us to the end of our chaotic, but ultimately wonderful, morning journey. Thank you so much for joining Sarah and David. We hope these stories about coffee disaster made you smile and helped you learn some new English vocabulary and expressions along the way. Remember, family life is messy, and learning a new language is too. The most important thing is to keep practicing and to find the fun in the chaos. If you enjoy this podcast, B1 to B2, here's what you can do now. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next story. Give this video a like if you found a phrase or expression that you want to use today. Tell us in the comments. What is the craziest thing that happened in your house this morning? Keep that English listening practice going, and I'll see you next time for more fun conversations. Bye for now.